Where did you take these from?
No, come on. That's my speech, man. All PLL's in here. Ain't nothing gonna happen. All right.
This is Josie's speech.
She got a lot of people now, so.
Yes. Joke's over now. Now it's serious.
Is it recording?
Yeah, go. Flip it. 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 Okay. And her audience. Ready, go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Josie Marilyn D. Manali. You guys don't know me as Sergeant Manali. This will be my informative speech for my speech class. And the speech that I will be giving you guys today is about the history of women in the military till present. Now, it is no secret that prior to women being paved the way to serve in the military, that they were viewed as the weaker link, with no better purpose than to fulfill their womanly duties. Yet, even with the mere little that they were allowed to do in the earlier years, it was very much overlooked. The history of involvement of women in the military go back as early as the very wars that helped shape this country. Now, the Army has opened as of September, 418 of the Army's 438 MOSs have been open to women of all ranks, as according to an October 34th Army report, Women in the Army. Now, today I will be telling you guys a little bit about the journey that women's roles took throughout time, as well as changes that have taken place and are still taking place as we speak. But first and foremost, let us start from the beginning. Now, despite not being in the front line of the enemy, women have served many purposes to the extent of what was allowed. In the fields of war of 1812, they served in vital roles such as providing water to soldiers in need. As well as during the Civil War, women provided casualty care as well as nursing for both Union and Confederate soldiers, basically saving lives. Now that you guys are aware of a few roles that women took during the past wars, let us take a look at the changes of time. After having served in indirect roles, women's actual involvement in the military date back as early as the 19th century. During the 19th century Civil War, women participated in disguise as men, even after the war ended. During this time, Dr. Mary E. Walker was the first woman to have ever been awarded the highest military offer at the time, the Medal of Honor. Now, it was in the beginning of the 20th century where both the Army and Navy nursing corps were established. This allowed Army nurses to offer services in military hospitals with the Army Recognition Act, granting relative ranks such as officer statuses such as second lieutenant, however, not with full privileges. Now, today, women's roles in the military is not negligible, and in fact, their continued participation has proven to be great against all odds. Notably, in 1979, enlistment qualifications became the same for both men and women. Historically, women have expanded from making up 9.8% of the Army's total workforce in 1983 to 15.5% in 2009. Now, 3 areas of concern that have still remain to be considered are sexual assault, suicide prevention, and hazing. 280,000 positions across all services still remain closed due to the combat exclusion policy. However, that may be changing. Now, since June 2009, 70% of the Army's positions have been open to the women. Although many may argue for equality of women engagement in the military today, some discrepancies still remain. The reason to some of these MOSs in the past being closed were due to permissible restrictions such as co-location, direct ground combat, privacy and birthing, special operations, as well as long-range reconnaissance. Now, other factors like the availability of quotas in politics were criticized for allowing unqualified women into the higher rankings of the military. They say such actions may eventually result in women becoming prisoners of war, as well as having the engagement of women in the front lines may be associated with higher cases of rape and molestation. According to Willens in a 1996 article, he said allowing women into combat would disrupt the esprit de corps, as well as interfere with unit cohesion. Now, it is known that any effective military must be founded on the cohesion of each and every member completely respecting and trusting each other, and this will help the road to women's roles. Now, despite all odds, women's roles in the military are still highly valued, especially after over 40,000 serving in the U.S. war against Iraq. However, this saw a turning point saying that women should not be allowed to serve in the front line, as well as providing an argument that women were recruited on the military not on an equal rights basis, but on a specialty occupations foundation. Now, for the past few minutes, I have informed you guys on the few roles that women have taken in the military and the changes throughout time, from where it all started in the beginning as early as the War of 1812 and the Civil Wars, and into its transition over time. Women today are serving in harm's way and have been for the last decade. The Army will now be expanding and opening more opportunities for women to serve in combat-related MOSs, and TRADOC has also chosen Fort Stewart's 2nd Brigade to be a part of this neutral gender-based test that they want to go, everyone to go through to see if women will be cut out to serve in combat-related MOSs. Now, this milestone reflects courage and patriotic service of women serving throughout more than 2 centuries of American history, as well as the indispensable role of women in the military today. The saying goes, behind every great man is an even greater woman. Now, the sources I used for this speech was an article written by Ferguson H. in 2011, The Role of Women in the War of 1812, an article by Willens J. 1996, Women in the Military, Women's Memorial 2011, Highlights in the History of Military of Women, Ferber Martin M., Combat Exclusion Laws for Women in the Military, the Secretary of Defense website, Direct Ground Combat Definition and Assignment Rules, and the United States Army website, Women in the U.S. Army. Thank you.